All right, fans, welcome on in to another episode of Film Room with Coach E. And we got another special guest with us again, doing another episode. My man Hud. Welcome back, Hud.
Hey man, glad to be here, ready to break down some film and let everybody know why we won.
And that's a good thing because we ain't won in a while, brother. I tell you that.
You telling me?
All right, let's start off with play one right here. We are on defense. The Cleveland Browns. The Ravens are on offense. They are 4th and 1. This is the first quarter of the game right here. This is the first drive they went on. So as a defense, you want to come out here and stop them from scoring, whether it be 3 points, whether it be a touchdown. You just want to keep them off of the board and send a message with hard hitting or good coverage or just making them know it's going to be an all-night fight. So they are lined up here real tight bunch formation. So you got one receiver down at the bottom of the screen, and you got two H-backs, so to say, at the top of the screen, tight end as well, running back right here, right in front of Lamar to the right. So it looks like this could be a quarterback draw. It looks like it could be some running an A-gap run right here or something like that lined up. So the defense is packed in tight, trying to keep everything out to them. But if you look at the bottom of the screen, we have nobody on that receiver down at the bottom of the screen. When I was watching the game, Hood, I was like, oh, man, don't nobody see him? But
Mm-hmm.
eventually somebody ended up running out there. So let's go ahead, push play, see what happens. DB runs out to the receiver at the last minute. Lamar takes the ball. He tried to do a quarterback power, but the defensive line was ready. They got off the ball and gave the offensive line something they didn't expect. They pushed them back in the backfield, so therefore it made it hard for Lamar to even make a read or try and pick a hole or even bounce it just because they got such a good jump off the ball and established the line of scrimmage behind the line of scrimmage. That's always what you want to do as a defensive line. Just beat the offense off the ball. Yeah, true enough, they know the snap count, but you got to be such a good athlete when as soon as the ball moves to get off, push them back, and go ahead and make that play. So that 4th and 1 stopped them on that opening drive right at the goal line, and there was no points put on the board. So that's a good thing for the Cleveland Browns defense to come out that way.
Yeah, it was a amazing, first series to hold them. But actually, I remember this play. That is
Mm-hmm.
not Lamar in the backfield. That is Henry in the backfield, and Lamar
Oh,
is at the bottom of the screen at receiver.
no, that's the receiver we didn't cover. Good eye, Hood. Good eye.
Yeah. So I think actually they put themselves at a disadvantage by doing that because now even though Derrick Henry is a power runner, you just really needed a yard. It took away that threat of Lamar Jackson running the ball on the outside, maybe on a zone read or something like that. So now we're going to pack the box in because we know Derrick Henry's not going to throw the ball to anybody or anything tricky. He's not going to really get outside. He's coming straight downhill. So now we can put 10 men in the box, get one guy out there on Lamar Jackson, even though they did see him late. And I think that kind of worked to our advantage because, I mean, what else was Derrick Henry going to do but run forward,
Right. He's definitely not bouncing it.
right
Even though
downhill?
he does have speed, but that's like in
Yeah,
the open field. He's not gonna be
right.
no east-west speed guy and cut on a dime. So you're right,
Yeah,
man. That's actually helped us out real good.
yeah. I think that really put us in a really better situation. They I don't think they really thought about that because you never want to take, at least me personally, you never want to take Lamar Jackson out of the play. He got to be involved in everything.
You're right, definitely.
So,
Especially with those tight ends and that H back and even that running
mhm,
back in the backfield. It could
yep.
be a play action pass or just a little pop pass. You remember that Tebow play, that jump pass? It could be
Hmm.
that, anything. Like you said, they took a lot of options away, man. They shouldn't have did that, but I respect it and I like it because they got the stop.
Loved it.
Moving on to the second play here. All right, so now the Cleveland Browns have the ball on offense, and we are in a shotgun formation, empty to be exact, at the start. It's a 1st and 20. We had a holding call, as usual. We've been having a lot of either pre snap penalties or play penalties, especially with the offensive line. Now, for everybody out there wondering, the offensive line came back this game. You had Jack Conklin over there at right tackle. You had Wyatt Teller coming back off of the injury reserve list. You had Polchik back at the center position. You had Joe Batonio back at his guard position. And the thing we did, we took Cedric Wills out of there and put DeJuan Jones at left tackle, which I've been saying for a while. He should have been playing left tackle for a while, but he had to lose some weight. Word on the street, he lost 30 pounds from the beginning of the season up until this game. So he was kind of overweight, not moving the way that he's usually moved. Like last year, he had a great year. So he had to lose that weight in order for him to move him over to left tackle because, that's typically your best rusher, pass rusher over there. And you need a guy over there that's going to be athletic enough to get in front of him and stop him. But now I believe this should be his regular position, seeing how horrible Cedric Wills had been playing at that position. So that's a good thing. Good job losing that weight, Dewan. We needed you out there. I said that to say in this play, watch the pocket that Jameis Winston has. Everybody knows I'm a Deshaun Watson guy. I do not remember a pocket looking like this so clean the majority of the time that Deshaun was in there. Okay, maybe he had one or two good pockets, but this pocket right here created by the offensive line was one of the best pockets I've seen all season. And it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's still the Browns, but I'm just saying, I'm throwing the comparisons out there, people. So let's go ahead and push play, see what happens. You got two guys in motion. Cedric Tillman comes in there and gets down, and so does Njoku to help with the protection. So the ball is snapped. Jameis gets it, steps up in the pocket, delivers a strike to Elijah Moore right in the middle of the field. It's not a first down, but it's a good chunk play to get those yardages back that you put on that holding call. So once again, on this end zone view, you can see the pocket is absolutely perfect for Jameis Winston to scan the field, go through his reads, step up in the pocket, and make a good throw with some heat on it to get in between the coverage of that zone defense that the Ravens were playing.
So we have here, like you said, we had an empty formation here, and I know we're here to break down plays, so I'm not going to get into a lot of back and forth with you. But I think a lot of it was Deshaun Watson and not doing what he was supposed to do. But I will agree with you; they did have some of their starters back at the O line, and so that did kind of help. But the protection was great, and we caught him in a too high safety look. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to slot down at the bottom, which I think it was Moore, and
Mm-hmm.
he just ran a square in and got in between the two high safeties and the kind of dropping middle linebacker that kind of dropped back. He got in that fella, found that little hole in the zone there,
Yep.
and Winston put it right on his chest, right where it needed to be. So I
And
think it
that
was. It was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was just the beginning of the tale of the game on how everything was going to go that day and
Mm-hmm.
the way Jameis was throwing the ball. He ended up having over 300 yards. First time Browns quarterback has had those yards this year and three touchdowns. So that was just a good precursor of what was to come later on in the game.
Absolutely, it was, and it was a great pattern. I mean, Elijah Moore did a great job of finding the hole in the zone, just settling right in between those two safeties, and Winston just delivered it perfectly, man. I hate to say it, but I don't know if your boy would have made that throw. I just don't know.
The verdict is still out. It remains to be
Yeah,
seen. You're right. He didn't do it. I'm not about to sit here and say he did. Not arguing that part. I'm
right.
just saying what he had to work with was a little shoddy, but hey, whatever. That's over. That's in the past. Just had to throw that out there for everybody to make some comparisons because they already was anyway. So
Oh,
might as
absolutely,
might as
absolutely.
well add fuel to the fire.
But great play call here by Ken Dorsey.
Yes. And it kind of gave the Ravens something to think about when Njoku and Tillman came and
Mm-hmm.
to motion to help
Mm-hmm.
some max protect. And
Mm-hmm.
they even snuck him out on the route because they saw
Yep.
nobody was blitzing. So
Right.
he had a couple other choices to hit, but I think he hit the
Mm-hmm.
right option right there. Like I said, he
Mm-hmm.
had plenty of time to scan the field because that pocket was so good.
Yeah.
And you got to get the biggest chunk back. Like I said, that holding call pushed him back another 10 yards. It should have been first and 10, but he got probably about 17 of those 20 yards back on that first play. So that's always a good thing. You always want to stay in front of the chains. It's hard enough that our offense has been struggling playing behind the chains like they have all season, but this was a great job by Jameis getting the chunk back and staying in front of the chains on this second down.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
second and manageable.
Staying on schedule. That's what they say. You got to stay on schedule. If you're not on schedule, you're late and you're behind.
On time is late as well. That's always what I was
Exactly.
taught.
Yep.
All right, so we got another play here. It's the second quarter, 13:59 left. It is 0 Baltimore, 3 Cleveland. You see the 14 offensive plays to our 13 offensive plays. So this will be number 15 offensive play for the Ravens. And as you can see, they were on another drive. Luckily, that first drive, we stopped them from getting any points on the board. And we're going to see what kind of outcome came from this play. So we got Lamar in the shotgun with a running back to his left. You got two receivers. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Two receivers at the top of the screen, two receivers at the bottom of the screen. He sends Zay Flowers into a motion to get closer to the tight end at the bottom of the screen so they can create some kind of pick play. Or you normally think that whenever a bunch gets together like that, ball is snapped. Lamar drops back, and the defensive end comes all the way to make that sack. They push the pocket. I'm sorry, the defensive ends force him up into the pocket. He comes out, tries to escape because that's his main thing, his escapability. Lamar's escapability is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. That was great coverage on the back end with the DBs. Lamar took a scan of the field, nothing was open, so he felt like he had to get out of dodge or it was going to be a sack, which ends up running himself into a sack. As you can see from that camera view from behind Lamar, there's literally nowhere for him to throw the ball. So this is a great job up front by the defensive line, keeping him inside of the pocket and making him nervous, wanting to escape the pocket. And when he tried to, they went on ahead and made the play. And another great job by the secondary and the linebackers talking in this zone coverage because that's perfect what you need. That's exactly how you want to play Lamar Jackson. Keep him one dimensional, not giving him those run lanes so he can break the play down, and he always keeps his head up while he's scrambling too. Don't get me wrong, he will scramble and run, but he does a great job of keeping his head up and looking for an open guy that he can dump it up to when he does scramble outside of the pocket. So that's a great job by number 54 forcing him out so the other guy can get the sack right there.
Yeah, that was a great pressure that we put on. I mean, we only had a four guy rush there, but we
Yeah,
put a lot of pressure on him. And the great thing about it is we put the pressure on him. And if you notice from the back view, we had a guy spying him too. So even
yeah.
if he did scoot up in between there, I don't know who that is playing middle linebacker. I can't make out the number, but he was spying him, trying to make sure that if he did escape, he had somebody in front of him to try to at least slow him down or get him on the ground. But we did a great job pretty much all day getting pressure on him, especially because we got these guys in these that a wide seven, wide nine technique or whatever. What is it? Wide seven, wide nine. What is it? E?
Yeah, wide nine, definitely
Wide,
wide nine with
wide nine.
number 99. Come on, man. Why do I always have brain farts like this? This is frustrating. Number 99. He's at the wide nine technique. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got this wide nine technique coming in, and it was hard for that tackle to get that kick step going to get to him. So we got the pressure on him pretty quick. Like you said, the secondary did a great job of covering. I think JOK picked out the backfield, but that spy is really kind of helped us out to keep Lamar in the pocket, collapsed on him, and it was a great play at a time when we really needed it the most.
And so his name is Diabate, number 43, the linebacker that's spying him. I've been
Okay.
talking about him for a while because he was a rookie last year and he was doing a couple plays, flashing to me a little bit. He's a
Mm-hmm.
6'5 linebacker. He's about
Woo.
6'5, 230, but he
Mm-hmm.
also runs a 4'4. So that's why they had him spying. Him and JOK are a great tandem in there if you got like
Right.
a game like this where Lamar's going to be doing a whole lot of running around. So it's perfect. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Schwartz inserted him into the game this week. That was a good call by him. Good
Yeah.
game plan to have two guys that you could switch on and off. Because I'm pretty sure if the running back was on the right hand side, Diabate would take him and JOK would end up spying Lamar. So that's two guys that you could have to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
another one is the Bush, number 30, Bush that we got
Yep.
from the Steelers. He's
Yep.
another fast linebacker that can also come in and spy Lamar too. So we pretty
Mm-hmm.
much built our defense around the AFC North and to keep quarterbacks like Lamar, especially under in check.
Right.
All right, so now we got the second quarter, 1 minute, 14 seconds left before halftime. It is 3rd and 15 for the Cleveland Browns. You got Jameis Winston in the shotgun with a running back to his right. You got a receiver to the top of the screen. I believe that is Tillman. You have Njoku down right here at the end of the line of scrimmage by the hash. You have Elijah Moore in the slot, and you have Jerry Judy wide at the bottom of the screen. So you got it's looking like it could be a cover three type of deal. That's what the Ravens are showing. Or it could be some kind of man. You don't know if number 10 right here coming off the edge of Baltimore is blitzing, or you don't know if he's going to pop back out on Elijah Moore in the slot right there. So that's the game that you have to play as a defensive coordinator just to keep the quarterback guessing and make sure he knows what he's looking at. So, like I said, it's kind of like a cover three look, but it could turn into man. It could turn into some kind of zone blitz, but that's for the quarterback to figure out. And luckily, Jameis is a veteran and he's seen a lot of defenses, so he's pretty much prepared for every situation. So the ball gets snapped, end up switching. The safety on the right hand side ended up coming down and blitzing, and number 10 dropped out into coverage. So that's that kind of zone blitz look that I was talking about. So if you look at the top of the screen there, the number 14, Justin Hamilton, wraps around the defensive end and wraps around DeJuan Jones as he picks up the defensive end, and he comes scot free right behind Jameis Winston. His back is turned, so he does not see him at all. You got a good strip sack right here. That was a very important play in this drive because we had time on the clock to try and get some points out of this drive, but that just was a hell of a call by their defensive coordinator and a hell of an execution by Hamilton coming off the edge right there and doing the strip sack, getting the ball out, and actually being a part of the fumble recovery. He comes scot-free off of that edge. So that was a real good blitz. We just got to try and put Jameis in a better situation so he can get the ball out quicker in that situation. But, sometimes you got to tip your hat to the defense. That was a hell of a play call and a hell of execution by the defense right there.
Yeah, this is always a tough situation, especially offensively where you got third and long, because they're going to probably send a blitzer at you, and you got to try to get a nice chunk of yards. So it's going to take a little time for those receivers to run those routes. So you got to make a decision
Mm-hmm.
as the offensive coordinator. Do I want to try to get rid of the ball quickly and have them catch it and try to see if they can get a lot of yak, get some yards after the catch, or do I try to get them back there and try to let them run their routes and hopefully we pick up the blitz? So the Browns were in a tough situation with this, and the Ravens played it perfectly. They disguised it beautifully, like you said. Number 10 at the bottom there looked like he was going to have like a little safety blitz off the bottom there,
Mm-hmm.
and they wound up dropping him. And number 14 wound up blitzing, and he came scot free because he came on the blitz. We had the end or the linebacker here, whatever that is. I think it was a linebacker in the end, do a little twist stunt thing going there. So it
Yep.
kind of confused uh, our O line a little bit, our left tackle and our left guard. They did a decent job of picking that up, but because they had to concentrate so much on that twist or what have you, that stunt, there was no one there to pick up number 14, Hamilton. He just came scot free, man. And like I said, we made a decision to try to run some longer routes, and Jameis was standing there waiting to get hit. So it was a great call by the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. We just didn't have any answer for it in that situation. All you can do is tip your hat to him and punt the ball.
And that's what you call sending one more guy than the offense can block. So you always
Yep.
want, as a defensive coordinator, to have a free rusher to make the play. And that's exactly what
Mm-hmm.
happened. He wrapped around, like you said, they did a little ton stunt. I call it a ton because the tackle goes out first and the end loops
Mm-hmm.
around. Whatever you put a
Yep.
tackle going first, you always want to use a T word in the huddle just so to
Mm-hmm.
give them the command that the tackle is going to loop around first. So that was just a great play call and a great execution by the Ravens right there to get that sack fumble and turn it into points. All right, now we got the third quarter, 13:22 left in the quarter. 3rd and 4. Cleveland Browns are down right now, 6-10. And we need this first down to keep the drive going, to get some points on the board, hopefully a field goal, hopefully, more importantly, a touchdown. So let's see what's going on with this formation here. You got guys scrambling around. So you got running back coming back in the shotgun with Jameis to his left. You got a receiver at the top. He is the tight end. You got that tight bunch at the bottom of the screen. The ball is snapped. Baltimore is blitzing off the edge again, gets picked up really well, and Jameis has enough time to sit there and look at that bunch formation. They did some kind of a switch route combination down there at the bottom of the screen with those three guys releasing. You had Jerry Judy going one way, you had Elijah Moore going the other way, and then you had Cedric Tillman going the other way. So it's kind of confusing for the DBs on who has who and which way they're going. So that's a good way of execution out of that bunch formation to confuse that defense just so you can get an open guy. And that was actually a good ball by Jameis, great placement. So the only guy that can catch that ball is the offensive guy, which is Elijah Moore. So that was a real good ball by Jameis Winston. Once again, the offensive line picked up the blitz and he had plenty of time to scan the field, but he still got the ball out quick enough in order to make it a very functional play.
So it's two major things I noticed in this play. First of all, the
Mm-hmm.
execution of the offense was beautiful in the sense that they put them in a bunch, and a lot of times when they put you in that bunch formation, they're trying to make the defenders kind of get confused and kind of run into each other because they're going to run some things where they're going to kind of cross each other, and they're trying to make the DBs kind of get get into what's the word I'm looking for, kerfuffle, so to speak. You know what I mean? Where
I
there's
like that.
a bunch of people running around trying to get places, and so the Browns did a good job with that. On the flip side, the Ravens did a horrible job in covering it. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
come across a bunch formation like that, usually what you want to do is kind of like inside out it. So if, say, for example, this corner down here at the bottom of the screen, even though they might be in man, he doesn't want to follow this outside receiver all the way in to where he's going. He wants to kind of play a zone and sit there and wait for somebody to come to him. So they kind of sit there, so they kind of inside out it. So if it's an outside route comes, he picks it up. If an inside route comes, the
Mm-hmm.
other guy picks it up instead of running to each other. And if you watch the play, they continue to try to play man, and it worked right into the hands of what the Browns wanted to do. Because if you look, the guys started running into each other, and number 5 ran into number 6, and next thing you know, he's trailing behind number 10 because he's like, well, dang, at least you can see him shaking his head like, we played that all wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so basically, the Ravens kind of shot themselves in the foot by the coverage they were in. They should have just kind of inside out and played some kind of a zone to wait for the receivers to come to them. But it worked right into the hands of what the Browns wanted to do, and worked into our advantage, man. So you gotta, sometimes you gotta check out of whatever you're in as far as defense to try to match what they're doing on offense. And the Ravens did a terrible job on that play in covering that bunch route, that bunch formation with those routes.
Yeah, so people typically put people in a bunch formation so nobody can get jammed up or whatever, so they can't play any press coverage or whatever. But I like to do
Mm-hmm.
kind of a mixed coverage there. Go cover 2 on
Mm-hmm.
that side and go cover 3 on the backside, just so you can have that corner in the flats. You still got that backer right there in case somebody wants to drag across, and you still got that safety helping over the top. It is that little window though, right? Pretty much where Jameis threw the ball, right to Elijah Moore where he went. That is the hole in cover 2 that you have to throw a perfect ball pretty much just to fit it in there. But I'd rather take that
Mm-hmm.
chance instead of having that happen, all that commotion and like you said, love the word kerfluffle. And it just opened up the play for Elijah Moore to get that first down that we needed to keep that drive going and get some points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So here we got 1st and 10 for the Browns. Third quarter, 10:55 left. We have Jameis under center. We got 2 receivers up top of the screen, 1 running back deep in the backfield. You got 2 tight ends at the bottom of the screen, and Njoku with his hand in the ground. So now the one tight end comes into motion. That's typically to see what kind of coverage they're in. Nobody moves with them, so we know it's some kind of zone. Ball is snapped. Jameis gets good depth on that deep drop right there so he can get back and read the field. Just like I said, he had his back turned for the play action fake. The defense could be moving any kind of way and he not know what they do. So it's a real good for a veteran quarterback to hurry up and finish that play fake and turn around and see where the defense is now, because it's totally different from when he took that picture before the ball was snapped. So you had Njoku coming out of his tight end stance, going right up the seam right there. That's a real good route. You see him widening himself. It looks like the Ravens were kind of in an all man across the board with that one high safety at the top of the screen. So Njoku knows he has to run that route away from that safety. Jameis does a great job of looking off the safety and giving Njoku a one-on-one situation where he has the defender kind of even with him, but the defender still is looking back with his back turned from Jameis. So Jameis knows that he can just drop it pretty much close to the back of the defender, and Joku sees it. He makes a play. That's one hell of an athletic play by a big guy. So that's why you want him in the game, because he makes plays like that because he's such a big athletic guy. You want to take advantage of that, especially in that area. It wasn't the red zone, but it's close enough to the red zone so he could be a huge threat. Like I say, he runs that route right up the numbers. It's just a great route, great throw, and a great catch by an athlete that should have been playing for a while, but he got a little hurt. But great play right there.
Yeah, it was definitely a situation where when I first looked at it, I thought they might have been in zone also. And then
Mm-hmm.
when the play ran through, I was like, well, they're in cover one basically
Yeah.
because we did a great job of getting. I don't know if this was a nickel back or whatever it was. It
So
was
it's
a definite
yeah, number
good
39. He's usually a safety as well too. I think he was playing
right.
strong safety in this defense, which pretty much is going to be a mismatch for Njoku because he's way more
Exactly.
athletic than him. So it was a good play call to the perfect defense for that play call.
hmm they did a great job with the formation in getting this particular guy on the Joku because there aren't too many corners or safety that can really uh, battle with him like that in the open field.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a lot stronger than most of those guys. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not quite as fast, but he's going to be able to go up like he did and go up and grab it. But the great part about it is Jameis threw the ball because Njoku wasn't really even open. If you really look at the play, he
No.
wasn't wide open. He threw the
Mm-mm.
ball up there and gave him a shot. And he said, "Hey, I think my guy is more athletic than you, and I'm gonna give him a
Mm-hmm.
shot." And he did, and Njoku proved him right. And I think
Yep.
that right there, my friend,
Mm-hmm.
is the difference between what Winston did and what Watson didn't do. I don't think Watson would have thrown that ball.
Hey,
But
guess what? No argument. You're right.
yeah, but it was a it was a great play, a great way of using the formation to get the mismatch on the guy you wanted because they probably wanted to go into the Joku the whole time, and they're like, okay, we
Yeah.
got the guy we want on him. Let's throw him the ball. Let's see what he can do with it.
And that formation probably in the Ravens defensive meetings is percentages. All this analytic stuff is going on. They usually see that formation. They were probably thinking run. That's why they brought that safety down just to help in the box because they were thinking
hmm
run. And that play action really got us to where we wanted to be in the offensive situation and the offensive
hmm
formation so we could capitalize on that throw. So that was a hell of a throw.
Yeah.
We have third quarter, 2:11 left. It is 3rd and 5 for the Browns on the 22-yard line going into the end zone trying to get some points. So we have a shotgun here with Jameis back there and the running back to his right. One receiver at the bottom of the screen. You have two receivers at the top of the screen and Njoku at the top of the screen as well, closer to the offensive tackle with his hands on his knees. That typically gives you a look of kind of like a max protect. You're expecting some kind of blitz because it is third down and you're expecting them to come try and get you off the field, make you shoot for a 3-pointer, aka field goal, or just to put you in a bad position to try and get you to hurry up and possibly throw a pick so you can keep the points off of the board. That's typically what you think of as a defensive coordinator. So you want to see how Jameis will handle the pressure. Like I said, he's in this shotgun. He gets the snap, takes 2 steps back, throws the ball to Cedric Tillman. Now, it's very important that you pay attention to the alignment of the defense before this play even starts. You have Cedric Tillman all by himself at the bottom of the screen, which does nothing but give him a whole lot of space to work with. And that corner is so far off, you have to get up on him. You can't be scared in this situation to get beat because you're giving him way too much room right there. Yeah, it looks like he's about to jam him, but he doesn't. He starts backpedaling, does not get hands on him, and it looks like they're in some kind of zone. So he was kind of expecting help from the inside. Safety never came down, which gave him, like I said, so much room. And Jameis put the ball, especially where it needs to be, right in the numbers. Cedric Tillman is a big body. Once he gets a full head of steam, that guy trying to tackle him wasn't going to do much. Goes right into the end zone for a good key touchdown to take the lead for the Browns. That was just a good route concept, good play, good ball by Jameis, And like I said, that defense wasn't communicating. That safety was supposed to be inside helping, and he wasn't. So eventually that ends up in 6 points on the board.
This was just easy pitch and catch right here, man. First of all, the Ravens defense wasn't even lined up right yet when we
Yeah,
snapped the ball. Uh, like you said, the corner just played the whole play terribly. I couldn't tell you was he in man or was he in zone. I don't think he even knew what he was in. Tillman came off untouched.
yeah,
It looks like you said, like the corner was looking for some help from inside, whether it be the linebacker or the safety coming down. But if you look,
somebody.
yeah, if you look, the whatever defense they called, they had the safety to the top of the screen coming down, and the safety
Mm-hmm.
to the bottom of the screen rolling up. So I guess the safety at the bottom of the screen basically had deep middle. So he took off
Yeah.
running, and the
Mm-hmm.
corner was waiting for somebody to be there, and the safety had left, and the linebacker was just sitting there because he had to go honor
The running
the
back.
route going to the sideline, and so
Mm-hmm.
Tillman just kind of was running untouched. There was nobody there. Look how deep the safety was. The safety's almost in the end zone. There's nobody back there.
Yeah, he
He just
pretty
took off
damn
running,
near in the end
like
zone. He's like at
right.
the 3
So
yard line.
exactly. So when Tillman caught it, it was just I got one guy to beat, and I'm gonna beat this guy. So it was just that was just honestly just terrible, terrible defensive play for the Ravens. They seemed to be kind of disorganized and not sure about what coverage they were in. They weren't on the same page, obviously, because there's
At
no way he
all.
should be running that wide open with nobody in the area like that.
You're right. Especially with a full head of steam like that. And a big
Full
guy.
head of steam, right? And it was only 3rd and 5, so I mean, you
Right.
can't. I don't know what the corner was doing on that. I'm just gonna let that one go and, and,
Yeah, I don't
and
even want to
take
make no assumptions, but I
right
know one thing. I would be screaming and cussing his ass out on the sideline if that was my defensive back.
because if you are a man, if you're a man, what's the main thing you don't give up?
Inside.
The inside. So
Never
obviously he
inside.
wasn't a man because he just gave the inside up. Like, well, I ain't gonna say how he gave it up, but he gave up the inside like it was just too easy. Like he
Pretty
thought he
much
had help there, and there was no help there, buddy.
no help whatsoever. So that was a good play for the Browns to take the lead, 3 point lead at the end of the third quarter. That's big. Give you some confidence going into the fourth quarter and momentum. Not to mention the big Uncle Mo. That's a big important thing in the NFL, especially in the fourth quarter. All right, now we have 50 seconds left in the third quarter. It's 20-17 Browns. You have second down for the Ravens. Now, this is not no play that I wanted to break down with no X's and O's. I just wanted to show something right here because this is a very important play for the Browns because this could have some ramifications in the next couple weeks with the big play that JOK has been having all season. He is a very vital part of the defense. And this is a play where we lost him for the rest of the game and possibly for a couple weeks just because of the way he tried to go inside on a Derrick Henry who was freaking huge. And JOK is not the biggest of the guy. And it kind of hurts him in this situation to be kind of fast. So he closes the gap pretty fast, but closes the gap on a brick wall pretty much. Not a good thing for a little guy, a little speedy guy. So we got Lamar in the shotgun, sends Zay Flowers on motion behind him. Got Derrick Henry right to the left hand side of him. Two receivers at the bottom of the screen, one receiver at the top of the screen. Ball is snapped and hands the ball to Derrick Henry. He makes a cut, comes up through the hole, and JOK is getting blocked. He actually gets off the block really good, how you teach him to, but he just leads with his head on, like I said, the wrong guy. His head hits Derrick Henry's shoulder. And if you could just look at how it does his neck, turns it to the side, you can tell right as soon as the point of impact, he fell asleep. That little mushroom top on the top of that helmet, that's not going to help him in this situation. There's too much friction and too much force that was created by the inertia of Derrick Henry going into the JOK's head. So this is the way you do not want to tackle children. I just wanted to point this play out so you can never tackle like this because if you do, you're going to bed immediately.
Yeah, man. It was just unfortunate that he got caught in a weird position. I think part of it was his his natural aggressiveness to want to go in there and make a hit because he's a hitter. He's not a big guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he likes to hit, and he just kind of went against the wrong guy because even if Derrick Henry isn't full speed, even his 75% coming downhill, that's a big load, man. And I think if
Big
he
dude.
could have, I think if JOK could have got his feet under him a little bit before he got there, he probably would have got a little lower. But he got
Oh
caught,
yeah.
kind of got caught in between. Like I'm getting low, but I can't get low fast enough. Screw it. I'm just going in. I'm going in.
I'm going
And when he
for it.
went, I'm going for it. And when he went in, he paid the price, man. And I hate that happened to him because he was playing so well.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll be back. But this is just basically bread and butter. Ravens football, man. I mean, they pulled that center and that guard, and they blocked
Mm-hmm.
down and pulled those guys to the outside. They gave it to that big back, and he just got downhill on him, man. And there wasn't nothing much we could do about it. Once JOK got there, it was lights out. So, hopefully he'll be
Lights
back.
out
And
already.
yeah, hopefully he'll be back, man. And it was just a bad situation. But, prayers go out to my man.
Yeah, they said he spent the night in the hospital. He was released. He just had like some neck soreness, but it's just protocol
Hmm.
that they have to spend the night in the hospital just so they can run tests and keep eyes on him, see what's going on. But he is
Yeah,
out and doing well, so
good,
that's a good thing.
good, 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 good.
All right, so now we got fourth quarter, 3:59 in the game, second and four. Ravens with the ball. You got Lamar Jackson in the shotgun. Derrick Henry right next to him on the right hand side. Zay Flowers all by himself at the bottom of the screen. No, I'm sorry. It's another receiver right there next to Zay Flowers, but Zay Flowers is at the bottom of the screen. You have a receiver at the top of the screen all by himself. So before the snap of the ball, Zay Flowers comes into motion. And right now, as a defense, you want to communicate with them and say over, 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 or motion, motion, motion. Somebody has to pick him up. He ran what we call a wheel route, wide open. They caught us in a zone coverage. And as you can see, number 29, Mitchell had his back towards him. He saw Lamar winding up and aiming that way, and he tried to hurry up and come back to get the ball, but it was way too late because that was actually a good ball placement by Lamar and caught the defense in the zone. That was a big play for the Ravens. Ended up scoring on that drive because of this play, putting them in good field position. And you just got to cover that wheel route, man. That outside linebacker or that corner has to go with that wheel route or at least be there so they can cut the vision off of the quarterback. So it's just miscommunication with the defense right here.
So we had a situation here, man, where we like you said, it was just it was kind of miscommunication, but at the same time it was also a very well designed offensive play because what they did
Mm-hmm.
was they sent the guy out into the flat, which Delpit came down from the safety and covered him. They
That's
sent the
what
guy
opened
up
it
the
up.
yep, they sent the guy up the seam, which is what the corner went with the guy up the seam, and that
Mm-hmm.
just allowed Flowers to just run that wheel route right up the sideline, and there was no one there because they were all occupied by other receivers. So it was just a well designed play offensively, man. And by the time they realized it, I mean, it was more people over there than we could cover. It was just a
Mm-hmm.
basic case of, you know, we had two guys covered and we had two guys over there covering, and we had three guys running routes.
Yep.
So it was a good design. If we would have jumped the wheel route, they would have threw the flat. We jumped the flat, so they threw the wheel route. So it was just a well designed offensive play, man. And you got to tip your hat to them on that one.
Yes, sir. Now you got a minute, 18 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Browns have the ball. It is third and seven. We are down 1 point. Very important right here to either the red line right there is to get in field goal range once we pass that. But the goal is to score a touchdown. That's always your goal to win the game. So we have shotgun with Jameis and Chubb to the left of him. You got Tillman down at the bottom of the screen all by himself. You got Jerry Judy at the top, Elijah Moore in the slot, and you have Njoku right at the end of the line, right by the tackle, trying to get some help right there on the Russian defensive end. So this is a very important play. Let's see what happens here. Njoku is letting them know that blitz is coming, and it is an all-out blitz. This is a very important play. He gets the ball out to Elijah Moore on the out in the flats, and gets across the sticks to get the first down. Not only that, to stop the clock without using the timeout. That was another good route concept right there. I believe this is called shoot, with the route tree. You had a Jerry
Yeah, two
Judy
outs.
clear out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you had
clear out.
Njoku. Levels. That's it right
Yep,
there. You had
there
a
you go.
Joker
Yep.
at the bottom of the screen. Then you had Elijah Moore about 3 to 4 yards of top of him, and you had Jerry Judy clearing it out. So, and the route concept that's called levels. This is a real big play right there. I don't want to say it's unstoppable, but it's hard to cover. And Jameis stays in the pocket, takes a hit, still throws a good ball. And like I said, we got the first down and we got out of bounds to stop the clock. Real big play to keep us alive, try and win the game on the same drive right here.
So I'll be honest with you, man. Just from looking at the play, you can tell there's an all-out blitz here, and I'm surprised that the corners and safeties are so far back when we only
Yeah,
really needed like 7 yards, and it was 3rd and 7. So if we only got 3 or 4 yards, we still was going to go for it anyway because it's the
right.
end of the game. And so I would think they might have played a little tighter.
Yep.
So when we saw that all-out blitz. I'm not sure if these were the routes that were designed or were these hot routes. You know, they might have been hot routes like, hey, we got to get rid of the ball quick. If they come in like that, just run a quick out. So,
Turn, get your
uh,
head around, get ready for the
right.
ball.
Turn around, get your head around, get ready for the ball. Exactly. And the defenders were so deep. So it was really a pretty easy play for Jameis. I mean, he saw the heat coming and he was like, okay, I know one of these out routes is going to be open, either the shorter one or the deeper one. And he had kind
Mm-hmm.
of had his choice of which one he wanted to throw to.
You
And I'm
did.
glad he picked the deeper one because it was right on time. Like boom, there it is. I mean, there was
Mm-hmm.
no way that defender was going to get over there. And it was just it was a well designed play by the offense. And like I said, I was a little confused on why the defenders were so deep, but Jameis got rid of it quick. He knew the pressure was coming. Elijah Moore did a good job of running, getting his head around and turning up the field and getting that first down. And that was a clutch play, man. That was clutch.
Yes, it
Eh,
was.
all around. Jameis knew he was about to get his head knocked off. As you can clearly see, he's laid out on the ground,
You're
but
right.
he and like what he said, he stared down the barrel of the gun
Yep.
and he didn't flinch.
At all. So this very next play right here is a huge play, huge play on both sides. So now we got 1st and 15. Clearly, it was a false start penalty on us, or otherwise it would have been 1st and 10. Fourth quarter, minute and 8 seconds left. Still on that same drive, trying to win the game. Jameson shotgun, Nick Chubb on the right hand side. We got Tillman at the top of the screen. Then you have Elijah Moore in the slot and Jerry Judy at the bottom of the screen, right by the number 40 and the 40-yard line. And Joku is in tight with Dewan Jones trying to pick up on Max Protect. He could be releasing for a route, but his first responsibility is to protect the quarterback. So let's see what happens right here. Ball is snapped. Jameis takes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps back, releases the ball, and I mean he overthrows Elijah Moore really bad. I mean really bad. Hamilton is an all pro safety. He makes play after play after play. This young man, I guess he didn't expect him to throw the ball like that. It hit him dead in the breadbasket. He literally bobbles it 4 times, drops the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, if he picks this ball off, game is over. We lose by 1 point. But I don't know how and why he ended up dropping this pick, but that was a huge play for us, him dropping this pick, and a huge play for them, him dropping that pick because it didn't end the game. We lived to fight another down, and boy, oh boy, did we need it.
Man, look, I hate to say it, but it was a situation of Jameis doing Jameis. I mean, doing
Yes.
Jameis type of stuff. You know
He
he
gonna
going to
give you
throw
like 3 of these.
right. We're just that are just unexplainable because
Yeah.
you got Elijah Moore coming across on the crossing route. He's wide open. Winston has no pressure on him. There's nobody in his face. He just floats the ball way over his head. I don't know what was going on, but it should have been an easy pitch and catch because Hamilton was in the trail position. He couldn't. He was behind him and trailing,
Mhm.
so there was no way he was going to make the play. And he just overthrew it. And Hamilton, by the grace of God, got the yips and just
Man.
coughed it up. But that one would have been completely on Winston because everything was working right. It was a great play call. They had the safety trying to cover Elijah Moore. Safety probably ain't gonna be able to run with him like that. He was wide
Mm-mm.
open. Winston had no pressure in his face. They picked up the blitzes. Everything was beautiful. And he just overthrew the ball. And, by the grace of God, he drops the ball and we live to play another day.
Now, that's why I said that play was so huge for both teams. The very next play, minute 4 seconds left in the game, fourth quarter, 2nd and 15. You got two receivers at the bottom of the screen, Jerry Judy at the far bottom, Cedric Tillman in the slot. You got Njoku at the top in the slot, and you got Elijah Moore wide up top. As you can see, people, nobody is over Elijah. I mean, nobody is over Cedric Tillman. And that safety is creeping inside of that hash. He's in the middle of both hashes right there. So it's his job to help with anybody who needs help. So he should be favoring Cedric Tillman's side because that DB or linebacker, I'm imagining that's a DB just from them having four receivers and the time on the clock, and you want to get your best athletes out there to cover. So I'm assuming this is a DB. He should be over that corner just to help and shut that down so Jameis doesn't even look that way. So the ball is snapped right here. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to Cedric Tillman in the slot. All he does is run straight across the field. Safety does not get back there. Wide open, game winning touchdown. I mean, if you look at this view behind Jameis, he sees that safety is not turning and running with Tillman. So he knows all he has to do is throw it to a spot and let him run up under it, and you get the game winning touchdown. That's just horrible coverage once again. We've been saying this all episode. The defensive backs for the Ravens had a horrible game, communication and
Terrible.
execution wise. So, but I'll take it. That gives us the victory. So, great play by Tillman, great catch, great throw by Jameis. Win the game, touchdown Browns.
So, like you said, once again, I am befuddled and absolutely confused in a major way on what the Ravens were doing. It looked like you said like there was nobody over Tillman, so he had a free release, and then when the
Mm-hmm.
safety kind of inched his way over, once Tillman started running the route, if you look from the rear view, the safety is
He's still
looking in the
flat footed.
backfield. He's
Yeah,
still
he's still
flat
flat
footed, looking
footed.
in the backfield. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, there's nobody behind you, there's no help, and these guys coming at you 100 miles an hour, turn and run. He was
Yeah,
really late with it. And he was looking in the backfield, and Tillman just just ran past him, unabated, unstopped, and just all Jameis had to do was just lay it up there, just lay it up
that's
there,
it.
and that's what he did. That was an easy play. That's something they doing in the backyard.
Yeah,
So
both of Tillman's touchdowns were 7-on-7 esque
yes,
pitch and
exactly,
catch.
exactly, exactly. But
Well,
it was a beautiful thing, and I don't even, if I had to guess, I don't even think they might have been really kind of looking for that play, but it just popped open so
uh,
wide. He was like, "Oh my
yeah.
God, I got to get rid of it and throw the ball."
Oh, oh, oh.
Right, because I think they probably was trying to get themselves in a position to kick a field goal or whatever.
Hmm.
But once you look up and you see that guy, because I think he might have been trying to hit that crossing route coming across, but you look up
Yeah,
and see that dude running down the middle of the field like that, I'm chucking it up. He had to chuck
got
it up,
to. You got to.
and
Well,
so
like I
there it
said,
was.
yeah, game winning touchdown. Cedric Tillman, he had a hell of a game. He had 3 catches, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns, game winning touchdowns. So he had
Mm.
one hell of a game. Well, Hood,
Yo,
that's the end of another Coachy film room. Appreciate you breaking it down, man.
hey
Helping me
man,
out.
hey man, I'm actually starting to enjoy this. I'm watching a lot more film than I usually do.
I see you got
No,
bit by the bug.
right? No, I'm just kidding. I actually watch quite a bit of film, but
Right.
yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. I enjoy every minute of it. And, I look forward to coming back on here again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another episode. We will see you next week.